Okay, I'm about to play 5 minute from a news conference today. It took place in New Orleans. It featured Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries, featured Congressman Troy Carter, Steering and Policy Committee co-chair Debbie Wasserman Schultz of Florida, Robin Kelly of Illinois, Nanette Barragan of California. Okay. So today they were at a New Orleans clinic to talk about the importance of Medicaid providers. The Speaker of the House of Louisiana is from Louisiana, Mike Johnson. Louisiana is just ahead of New Mexico in terms of the number of people going to lose Medicaid. But here's what I don't understand. You know what? Play the video first, and then I'm gonna tell you what my problem is with what I'm about to play.
The passage of Donald Trump's big, ugly bill, H.R. 1, represents the most devastating attack on America's health care in our nation's history. It cuts more than $1 trillion from health care, including $500 billion from Medicare, putting millions of Americans, including many here in Louisiana, at risk of losing coverage, facing skyrocketing costs and
All right, folks, so we have a technical issue, and so we're going to get that fixed. But I'm going to show you something. And see, this is why I'm really trying y'all know I'm trying not to cuss. But this is my problem with that. You have a news conference. Did y'all get it straight? All right, okay. So you have a news conference in New Orleans that's represented by Troy Carter to raise the issue about the bill that's already been passed. At least go to my iPad. Y'all, this right here, this is the congressional district of Mike Johnson. As you see right here, Shreveport, Monroe, Alexandria, it extends all the way down south to Lake Charles. So that's Mike Johnson's district. Now, first of all, you see right here, you see how this carve-out piece right here, this shows you how they gerrymander. Like, that makes no sense at all. Like, why wouldn't it be a straight shot top to bottom? But that's how they do these maps. Okay, here's my problem. If you're going to hold a news conference talking about the devastating effects of the bill, which Mike Johnson voted for, why don't you have it in his district? Why don't you literally go to either Lake Charles or Shreveport or Monroe, and you hold this news conference so the local media in Mike Johnson's district can cover it, and then you can rally the people in Mike Johnson's district, the organizations in Mike Johnson's district, and ask them, and the churches in Mike Johnson's district, and say, I need y'all to challenge him on why did he vote on a bill that's going to hurt his district. Great. All five are standing there in New Orleans. Why? That's not his district. Ben, I said to Obama and his people, why do y'all keep going to suburban Ohio and suburban Maryland and suburban Virginia, holding speeches and rallies touting the Affordable Care Act. I said, take that shit to the brokest, sickest, whitest, reddest district and say, I passed this bill for y'all because you are the brokest, you're the sickest, and you should be asking, why did your United States Senator and your U.S. Congressman vote against a bill when you are sick? Ben, your thoughts?
Roland, at this point, I have to think it's a matter of complicity, right? Because at that level of politics, to excuse it away as them not knowing or incompetence, to me, is not acceptable. They have too many highly paid representatives and individuals who plan for them, strategists, consultants, because that's just common sense what you said, right? And it makes too good of sense for them to not understand and actually execute it. Go into the belly of the beast. Go into their districts. Go and confront them head on. Talk to the people who are being hurt the most. Talk to the people who voted for them who are going to be hurt the most. And it's that oversight, it's that inability to see something that simple, which goes back to what one of the brothers on the panel already said. We have to have our own organizing power, because if we allow the Democrats to keep doing this, whether it be fecklessness or complicity, we're going to keep finding ourselves as Black people at the mercy of either a party that is complicit with this power or just too incompetent to actually fight against it.
I get it. I get it. You want Louisiana media attention. Okay, I get it. But that's not who you talk to. Matt, you go and talk to his people and you say, y'all need to be asking him, why did he vote against you? What was his reason voting against you? Y'all, and you say, here are the Medicaid recipients in this district. Here are the number of people in this district on SNAP with SNAP benefits. That's what you do. You get nothing going to New Orleans.
I don't know. I think I'll be the dissenting voice on this. I don't know that it's as, problematic for the message for it to be down the road in New Orleans as opposed to his district. I get the logic, but one, Louisiana isn't a huge state. Two, your first point on this is exactly what I thought. They probably thought that they have a much greater access to a larger swath of media there in New Orleans, and it's not like they can't have that same messaging 100 miles away. I get the logic. I think it's a different analysis in Texas or California. If you're talking about LA, you wouldn't go to Sacramento. I think it's a little different in Louisiana. And I think it's really more about the vigor that they deliver the message with, to say, Mike Johnson, your own Speaker of the House, is voting against your interest. Why didn't he vote for the interests that affect you? I think you say that, but I think doing it in New Orleans
does nothing.
Opposed to doing it in that district,
it does nothing.
I don't think it's as major and I don't think it has the effect.
Okay. What does it do? Okay, Matt.
A negative.
Okay, Matt. What does it do? You're talking in New Orleans, which is represented by Representative Troy Carter. What does that get you? He's already a Democrat. You have a lock on his seat. What does that do for you?
I mean, I get the logic, Roland, but you're in D.C., I'm in Texas. We're talking to people across the country. You mean to tell me that they can't have the same import in their message and the same vigor in their message 100 miles down the road? I mean, I get what you're saying.
No. Here's what I'm saying.
Here's
what I'm saying. The reason the reason you bring a representative from the House Democratic leader, a rep from Illinois, a rep from California, and a rep from Florida is you want to amplify the negative impacts of the bill, and the person who is the Speaker of the House who actually ramrodded the bill through is from Louisiana. So if I am, first of all, so my strategy, here's the first thing. What is my strategy for even holding the event? So let's see. There's not a U.S., so there's a U.S. Senate race that's next year, okay? The congressional races are every year. There's a mayoral election in October. They ain't talking local election. They're talking what happens in Congress. So if I am trying to say to the folk who are going to be hurt the most, this guy from this state screwed you, I'm going to his district. Ain't no Mike Johnson voters in New Orleans. None. Okay, so the media covers it, but that's just like an insular conversation. I'm not reaching.
But I don't.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think it is, though, right? I don't think it is, because the same phenomenon that you're talking about is applicable to people in all 50 states. I mean, I get that it's Mike Johnson's district is a stone's throw from there in New Orleans, but by that same logic, they could go to Florida. They could go to other places and go to rural wherever. And
yes,
say,
and if you go to Florida, and if you go to Florida, go to the district of a Republican who voted for it and hold up the data, because here's the thing. You already know what Fox News didn't cover. So what the goal, for the media goal is, I need to break through and get the message to the folk who may not even be aware of it, that, are y'all aware how sick y'all are? Are y'all? There's a member of Congress from from California. 2/3 of his district are on Medicaid. I will be on his ass. Yeah. To your point, I ain't going to L.A., I'm going to his district and say, see how he voted? Because I'm trying to take his ass out.
Yeah, and I get the logic. I'm just saying I don't think it really is a major difference. I think the real analysis needs to be on whether the messaging itself is effective, because, right, people across the country are going to be affected by the loss of this health care, number one. And number two, Louisiana's not a huge state, so doing it in New Orleans as opposed to up the road in Mike Johnson's, I think it's just a different thing than if you did it in Austin and you're talking about El Paso.
No. See, Matt, I think you're missing something, Matt. There's a thing called DMA. In media, it's called DMA. And that is, in the DMA is, what is the radius of the television signal? Monroe and Shreveport have their own TV stations. That's what I'm saying.
Wasn't it run by national media, though?
No. That's local news. This is my point. You're not talking national. Okay. Every congressional district in America is 850,000 people. That's every congressional district. The Democrats lost the House by a combined 1,700 votes. When you look at the races where they lost, 1,700 votes. Okay? 1,700. Wow. They only need to win 4 or 5 seats to gain control of the House. So you got to pick off. You're not picking off U.S. senators. You're picking off individual House members. So my strategy has to be, Michael, what did we say on, hold on, let me find it. Because remember, we pulled it up. Mm-hmm.
No.
We pulled it up. This right here.
I totally understand.
This right here. This is your goal. This right here. This is your goal. There are 35 Republican House members who are in purple districts. These are the 35 you target. And here's my point. Troy Carter ain't on this list. So if you're going to do this, you do it in a place where you can actually flip the seat, Michael.
Yeah, this is what you're talking about is what I term as political pressure points. And Democrats oftentimes don't understand political pressure points. They'll preach to the choir. So they'll go and hold something like this in their own district after the bill is passed, after it's signed into law, things like this. No, you go into Mike Johnson's, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson's red district. And just so people understand, in the state of Louisiana, 1.6 million people are on Medicaid. It's expected that because of the bill that just passed, 158,000 people in Louisiana are going to lose their Medicaid coverage. And Mike Johnson helped push that bill through and did it to them. So you go to his district and you educate the people in his district what he did. Not only, Roland, will you get local TV coverage, news coverage, you're going to get local radio coverage also. because radio stations that have news departments, and I used to work at one, they go cover events like this as well. So you want to educate those people, put pressure on them. And unfortunately, a lot of Democrats have this 2026 strategy, really, but don't really understand how to implement this and utilize these political pressure points. We'll preach to the choir. So that's exactly what you do. Now, you had some Democrats that held town hall meetings during a recess, things like this, in Republican districts, right? Continue that strategy, okay? And hold these Medicaid forums like this in these vulnerable Republican districts, these 35 districts, and put the pressure on
them. The reason, and again, I need people who are watching and listening to understand why I'm so bothered by this. I go back to what I've said in this previous segment. Not macro, is micro. They got to pick them off. Go to my iPad. You go to Kentucky, and you go to this SOB's district. You go to Andy Barr's district. You go to his district. And guess what? Do you know why you go to his district? Because you got a Senate race because Mitch McConnell is retiring. Kentucky has a Democratic governor. Hey, you could potentially flip Kentucky's Senate seat. That's where you go. I just think, again, when I was my first National Association of Black Journalists convention, Ben, we go to New York. A group of us from Texas A&M. So we had luncheons and other events. And one of my classmates, Roland, why you ain't sitting with us at the luncheon? Because none of y'all can get me a job. Why am I going to sit with people who I already know? I'm going to sit at a table where I don't know nobody. They were like, damn, I ain't never thought about it that way. That's been my mentality my entire life. If I'm Jeffries, to Michael's point, I'm not going to preach to the choir. I'm trying to go recruit some new choir members. And wherever I go, I need to have cameras with me. And here's the media attention, Ben, that actually gets to what Matt said. If the Democratic leader, Hakeem Jeffries, shows up in the congressional district of Mike, matter of fact, if I'm Hakeem Jeffries, give me 1 second. Because I need everybody to understand something. House members have congressional offices. So, give me 1 second. I know it's on here. Boom, right here. Go to my iPad. These are the 5 congressional districts offices of Mike Johnson. I'm having my news conference outside of his damn office in Ruston, Ben. And you know what all the coverage is going to be? The coverage is going to be local, and it's going to be statewide, and it's going to be national. And it's going to be like, did y'all see what happened today? Hakeem Jeffries took 4 Democrats to the district of Speaker Mike Johnson and held a news conference outside of his office and held up placards showing how many people in his own district are going to be impacted by Medicaid cuts and SNAP cuts. The local story then becomes national. They ain't getting no coverage there in New Orleans. Matter of fact, I might be the only show in America that played a little bit of that news conference.
Roland, I feel your angst, and I share it, because we have to pause and ask ourselves, are these people equal to the task of fighting fascism as we're facing it right now? And again, I'm of the opinion, I might be one of the few, but I'm of the opinion that they know exactly what they're doing. This is the path of least resistance to get nothing done. There is a path of least resistance to get everything done, to stop MAGA, and you've already laid it out. Show up in their neighborhood, show up at their offices, knock on their doors. That's easy. That's good media. That's good publicity. That's what every politician would actually want if they were actually on our side. So I'm sorry, I'm of the opinion that Hakeem Jeffries may not really want to stop MAGA.
I just listen. I think, Michael, he does want to stop MAGA. I just think that you got to have what Dion always said. I need some folks with some dog in them.
Come on.
You can't play this thing nice. The old political paradigm is gone. Trump and MAGA has completely demolished that thing. Okay, listen, Republican presidential consultant, media commentator David Gergen died today. David Gergen, I was with him on CNN. David Gergen was very soft, very sensible, how he approached. That don't happen now. You got to sit here and scrap. You got to say, nah, this is war. This ain't boxing. This ain't even MMA. Nah, this is straight up, I got to take your ass out politically. And so the strategy has to be, all right, how can I call attention? How can we drive media attention? How can we build awareness? How can we piss them off? How can we get under their skin? That's how you do it. You say, and matter of fact, my ass would have done this here. I would have said, we're going to be in Louisiana all day. We're going to do one go back to my iPad. We're going to do an event I'm going to do it at the Ruston office. I'm going to do one at the DeRitter office. Right. I'm going to do one at the Bossier City office. And then I'm going to go to the campus of where they got a P.O. box, Northwestern State University. And if I say, you know what, I can't get Hakeem to be at all of them, that ain't a problem. Hakeem, you're going to do one in Ruston and the one closest to Ruston. Then we're going to send Debbie to one of the other ones, and we're going to send Robin to one of the other ones, and then we're going to send the other the woman from California to the other one, and we're going to sit here and blitz their ass. And you know what the coverage is going to be? House Democrats call out Speaker Mike Johnson in his own district on Friday. Local media going to cover it. Right. State media is going to cover it. National media is going to cover it. If I'm them, I'm live streaming every single one of the news conferences. I'm going to push it on social media and all the blogs, and I'm going to send the signal to everybody in the House leadership, we coming to your district next. And that's what I say. Next week, we coming to you. Freedom Caucus, we're going to hit all y'all. Doc, you got to have, if you are trying to win a game, the game plan that you won with 10, 15 years ago, different game plan. Right. It's a different game plan.
Exactly. Because it's a different game. So first and foremost, voters, regardless of whether they're Democrats, Republicans, or independents, they want to vote for a fighter. They want to vote for somebody who's fighting for them. That goes back to the conversation that we had, I think it was last week when you had Jasmine Crockett on and I was on, and that's something that you all talked about. So that's number one. Number two, I've said it on the show before, and a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago or so, I just finished watching the last episode of the 4th season of Godfather of Harlem. I've said we need more politicians like a Bumpy Johnson. Because a Bumpy Johnson was straight up fighting the mafia, but he was also trying to protect Harlem and protect his people. So this is a different game that's being played. I think Hakeem Sekou Jeffries wants to defeat MAGA. Okay, I totally understand that, and I totally believe that. But the way that you have to go with this, you're fighting against something that's unorthodox. So you talked about MMA. The reason why people had to start cross-training in UFC was because the strikers were getting beaten by the grapplers. That's why strikers, people practicing karate, things like this, had to start studying Brazilian jiu-jitsu because they were getting their behinds kicked because it was unorthodox to them. So when you fight against an unorthodox opponent, you have to change your strategy. So this is what has to happen. And we have to realize that we have to have real fighters. And some of the people who are Democrat incumbents right now have to be voted out of office, in more progressive Democrats who are sensible progressives, not this pie in the sky stuff, but sensible progressives who are fighters are going to have to replace them.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.